Hey guys, how you doing?
There he is.
Hey
Hey,
Dennis,
Edward.
pleasure to meet you.
So what brought this whole thing about with the audit?
Yeah, so I fancy myself a full-time roofer, part-time marketing guy. I enjoy that piece of the business more than the other, and AI as well. So,
Okay.
um, a lot of anyway, my Google Knowledge panel, which I claimed because of instruction that I found from your YouTube channel. Um,
Good.
they would say
Here
that
too.
they would say I'm a roofing AI innovator, is what they say about me. So, anyway, so I've not in a creepy way, but I've been following you for a while, right? And
Uh-huh.
your content's solid, it's sound. The mechanics are there, and I like kind of who you are, or at least
Thank you.
or at least the avatar that you portray to the public.
How do you know, right?
Right. And so, kind of your core values align with mine. And at the end of the day, we usually, get counsel and do business with people that share our core values, right? So, and this, the roofing space and the digital marketing space are a lot alike in the ways that A, they're oversaturated,
hmm
and B, there's a lot of bad actors. Um,
Very much.
and so, it's refreshing when I come across someone who, is trying to, you know, do it correctly. So that's why we're on this call.
Appreciate that, Brad. Awesome. Yeah. We built your knowledge panel too, a little bit more. Very few
Yeah,
people have one, and then even fewer claim it. So,
yeah. I need to keep building it for sure. So
and what is Edward, what is your angle here?
Edward is the chief operating officer for Capital City Roofing.
Okay. You're on mute. Or you were on
Yeah,
mute.
sorry about that. Yeah,
Can't see
so
you.
as Brad mentioned, he's the guru when it comes to marketing and the AI. So I'm really here to learn and listen and see so we can find out here.
All right. Well, good. Well, let me share my screen here. And we've been doing the same thing for years and years and years. It's the same fundamentals over and over again, but people don't seem to understand that. I saw you ran your stuff through ChatGPT, which is great. I love that. There's some stuff though, like ChatGPT or whatever your favorite tool is only as good as the data that you give it, and then the user of the tool. A lot of people obsess about the tools, and the chef is more important than the knife.
Oh,
Like
for
the
sure.
ingredients are more
Yeah.
important than the chef. You need all of those.
Yeah. Everyone's like, what's the best one? Whichever one you're going to use and learn how to use properly, that's the best one.
Yeah. So actually, I'll be in Atlanta in a couple weeks. My dentist is Dr. Hugh Flax. He's in Atlanta. I have two friends that run, actually three that run law firms, PI. I know I'm like big in the PI space. And
Cool.
who else in Atlanta? I've been in Atlanta multiple times to be on CNN to debate Zuckerberg. I don't know if you ever saw that. A lot of people say, "Oh, yeah, you're the guy I saw years ago. You debated Zuckerberg on C." Yeah, I'm the guy. You crushed him. Yeah, I know. They gave me the questions in advance. Okay, so you mentioned that you think that part of this comes from changing locations.
Yeah, we moved from
I,
John Street to Alpharetta.
I don't think that's it. I mean, that's part of it. I don't think that's the core issue. And then so I like to do the analysis first and then run it by ChatGPT, which is just like it's like the game I play, just to see like and see who you'll see I publish videos where I'll do the analysis without looking, and then I'll have ChatGPT do the analysis, and then I'll put it out there and say, hey guys, vote. Who do you think did the better analysis? And it'll be like, well, it found some things that I didn't find, and vice versa. Usually I win, but at some point the AI is going to beat me, especially because we've trained up the AI to learn to do things the way we do it, because I've personally done thousands of these audits. And then we train up these agents, as you know. So you're a dabbler, Brad, so you understand what we're doing to train up these agents, the reinforcement learning, and the rules. And we take these Zoom calls, and the our agents are learning from these Zoom calls, right? So they're getting better and better, and I'm just getting older and older. So eventually I'm going to be beat. But there's some things I can do it can't do. So what it can do is it can look and say, well, you rank on very few keywords. And part of it is because of the loss that came from, switching to Alpharetta. And most of this is a local signal. But if we look at what causes keywords to rank, it's always going back to the pages. And if the pages don't exist, then no amount of rankings is going to overcome that. So according to Ahrefs, and you can use SEMrush or whatever the other tools are, there's just so little to be even indexed that there's nothing to
Hmm.
even be in the competition to begin with, right? So then we come back to the site and we say, well, there must be an issue with the location service pages. So this is like the step-by-step troubleshooting. And if the location service pages aren't seen as authoritative or aren't being indexed, we'd want to look in your search console and whatnot to verify that's the case, because third-party tools are really just their estimates, right? Well, what is it, right? Commercial roofing, residential, roof repair, roof replacement, all these terms that people are looking for, do they like what is it about them? Obviously, you prefer roof replacement, worth more money. But so if we look at this, so you've got these locations and maybe these other location service pages, by the way, change this to 2026, then is there EEAT here? And the answer is no, right? And then this page itself, by the way, all this stuff, any roofer you can, I've audited so many roofing sites. I even helped Lance Bachman with his stuff, which is hilarious. Like Lance came to me and he said, hey, I need some help with my SEO and my personal brand and all. I'm running a conference, right? He's got his roofing process con. And I said, aren't you the founder of One SEO? Aren't you like the guy who's supposed to know how to that's like Michael Jordan coming to me and saying, I need help with my jump shot. Like, wait, but you're
Right,
Michael Jordan, right?
right,
I'm
right.
like, yeah, I know, but my art firm sucks. And like, I know that. I was just ribbing you. So this page has no authority. The site has some and doesn't really rank on anything. This domain authority, which can be gamed, doesn't really count. So there's not much trust for capital city roofing. Maybe you're running a lot of LSA, maybe Google ads, or maybe, signs or, whatever. Other offline marketing is carrying you door to door. Who knows, right? But online, there's not much juice from the site to pass down to these pages. So all these pages are zero. They get no traffic. They rank on nothing. So the question is, do you understand why all these location pages, all the service pages together called location service pages have no power? Do you understand why? And it's not because of the location switch.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean there's probably still 20 to 30 pages that I need to build. Um,
But even if you built the pages, it probably wouldn't be enough to work. But do you know why that is?
well, the keywords and the way that they're clustered and the strategic rollout from putting those location pages and the different services on my GBP at the same time coinciding with the location pages or the services pages.
Yep.
So
So,
I have a bunch of predefined clusters built out that Elin Analytics, I don't know if you ever heard of that marketing company, but
uh-huh.
um, that was my last straw with marketing companies. Anyways, they uh, they just kind of left me high and dry is essentially what happened. So this is kind of like a half built, complete, website that I've built the vast majority of it because I've
Yeah.
had to. Anyway, I'm not gonna get into, my grievances with them, but that's
I've heard
essentially.
it 1,000 times. It's like I've been burned by the last three marketing companies. I know, I know. And then you just need to fix it. And you could fix it because you're a dabbler. It's not hard. You mentioned part of it, which is taking the stuff that you have here on GBP and repurposing that into location service pages to strengthen the signal. So let's see examples in Alpharetta or other suburbs within Atlanta, or you're in Nashville now. Let's see all of that. Let's see reviews that are from those places. Let's see your crew as they're out there. You should pay them $20 for every review, right? They're incentivized and they do better work because they know they're going to ask for the review. It creates this positive feedback cycle, right? You respond to these guys, which is great. And there's pictures in here, which is great. But you need more, especially in Atlanta as a competitive market for roofing. It's maybe 500 plus, right?
Hmm.
So I think the biggest issue, which is also your biggest strength, is your GBP is strong. Your website carries nothing. And a lot of
Hmm.
people, they will bucket your GBP and your name and all the website and they'll bucket all of that into SEO. And that is a scam, in my opinion, because those are separate. Things come from your reputation, from your offline marketing, from good word of mouth, from GBP. You could have your GBP, you could kill your website. Don't do it, but as an experiment, if you wanted to prove me right, you could take your website down and you'd find that your GBP will function 95% as good as it's functioning now. That's how strong your GBP is relative to your website, or glasses half empty, your website is nothing. That's what's
Right.
going on. And the reason why, we can take any of these pages, and yes, you can build out these pages and repurpose the GBP, but even if we did, and we went to Christopher, people like Jennifer and Christopher and these other ones, and I'll just, say, so Brad knows that his website has almost no traffic, but his Google business profile is doing well. And we talked about how he could repurpose stuff from his GBP to these location service pages, and here's one of them. So go ahead and grade it harshly based on what we know and what you're trained on, which is like EEAT. And, great. Show what's missing and why this is just AI generated content. But also show, even if we do all the EEAT, that's not enough. What else do we need to do? And I'll paste in some of the data just so it knows. Because you want to give it some of the data. Right. And here's some Ahrefs data. It knows it's Ahrefs data. I don't need to tell it that, but I don't know, I'm just being polite. When you're polite, it does work harder, works harder for you. You know that, right? It's harder when you're polite to it. People want to argue about that, and don't kick the robot dog, because one day it'll, come back and remember, and whatever. But yeah, your experience is not here. That's the biggest thing of EEAT. It used to be EAT, expertise, authority, trust. They added the extra E for experience. It's not there. Doesn't show who the author is. Needs to like every page has to have authorship, right, Brad?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why, Edward? Why does every page need to have authorship? Right? Okay, see, it's not there. Fails Google's EEAT standards. If you need to understand why, it explains why, right? So even if you did that, the trust coming in, and links are only part of it, but there's no links coming in. So the URL rating flows only from the fact the domain has a little bit of power. The domain doesn't rank on anything because it's the chicken and the egg with the content and then no trust, right? So here's the 181 links that you have that give you your overall DR32, the sum of the power of all the links that you have. I looked at this before. You have the Better Business Bureau one, which is good. And then you have some organizations you're a part of, which is good. You said you won was it a Roofie, the award, Roofer of the Month. Yeah, you have some of these, but most of these are just garbage. They carry no power. And then this one, somehow you lost. Figure out what happened there. Maybe the page needs to be redirected, or something like that. Here's Roofer. Okay. But none of these links that come in rank on anything. None of these pages themselves rank on anything, even though some of them, like the overall Better Business Bureau, carry a lot of power. The site has a lot of power, does rank on that one page for Capital City Roofing, does rank on one keyword, gets a little bit of traffic. But everything outside of that, none of it adds up to anything, as you can see. So I imagine when you go to Vegas for IRE, you know a lot of roofers, you know a lot of the suppliers, you know a lot of industry people, you know a lot of, software people, CRM people, all that stuff. And you could do 1-minute interviews with these folks. And then those could be podcasts, whatever, that link from your site or from their site to establish credibility in roofing and in Atlanta. I'm sure you know a lot of Atlanta businesses that could link to you. And you could link to them and you can feature them, and they don't have to be in home services. They don't have to be general contractors and landscapers and plumbers and all that. They could be
Mm-hmm.
restaurants, Little League. They could be anybody in Atlanta, right? And we know a lot of people in Atlanta. And all we need to do, for my standard, which is higher than Google's standard, is to have like a Zoom call with them for 5 minutes just to show that you actually are connected to them, and you talk about whatever you talk about, just like you meet them at a conference and you talk about, oh, where are you from? Oh, have you, what do you think about the Braves? Whatever it is, right? And that would establish that there's true EEAT, and then that could generate links, not reciprocal links, but links between other Atlanta businesses, Atlanta organizations, and then other roofing industry people, which is not in Atlanta. So you need roofing plus Atlanta, which establishes you as a Atlanta and Nashville roofing company, right? And that's what would generate your link profile, which would then flow to the site and then flow to the different pages. But because the pages aren't there, even if you generate the juice, there's nothing to flow to, right?
Mm-hmm.
So That's a very 101 SEO fundamental view. I think the roof estimate thing, if you drive more traffic here, Google has announced in the last couple of weeks, you have seen the online estimates, especially coming through AI. Dwell time is higher when people come through these online calculator tools. So Google will even rank you higher based on the Chrome clickstream behavior. Independent of links and content and all that, the actual user behavior is more powerful than these SEO kinds of signals. Which is
Mm-hmm.
why a lot of these guys with like personal injury attorneys, they have the calculator, calculate how much your settlement could be worth based on your injury and all this kind of stuff, right? Your
Mm-hmm.
fault and all that, right? Same thing for like our HVAC quote. We've got 100 HVAC companies now in the last 100 days that are, this Tommy Mello and Lance are both investing. And we put this thing on HVAC companies, and you come in and configure your quote, and that actually helps them with SEO. Surprisingly. Why? Because Google can see that real consumers are coming in and they're answering questions about their home. And then it says, well, based on all this, your system will cost between $8,300 and $12,000 or whatever it is, right? And so they spend more time on the site. They click around more on the site. It's not bot traffic. It's real people in these cities and, Phoenix, First Choice Mechanical, Met, like all these other guys. And that shows that they rank better because it sends a signal that people in that city are looking for HVAC or roofing or pest control or whatever it is, right? So these are all signals for the search engine. I care very little about these SEO metrics and all that. I care about what are the things that you can do, Brad and Edward, so when people come, they get their questions answered. You got a question about metal roofing, right? Commercial roofing. Then what is it, or these kinds of homes? Are we showing examples of this? What is about a metal roof, right? Do we have videos and pictures and all that? Like if I look in my Google Photos, and all your crew should have this in Atlanta, I should have lots of examples of being in Atlanta. Like I spoke at this in Atlanta. I flew Spirit Airlines, unfortunately. No, I spoke at a
Actually,
conference.
I like Spirit Airlines actually.
I'm actually, what am I like? Gold or whatever on Spirit. I'm platinum on Frontier, if you can believe that. And I'm also top tier on Southwest, as you can see.
They have those new really big seats.
The comfy seats and they give you snacks. Yeah,
It's fantastic.
it is. I know, but it's people love to hate on Spirit.
I know.
So there's a lot of stuff with me in Atlanta, and there's my buddy Ali Awad, who's a personal injury attorney. I spoke at his conference. This is the room they put me up in. All these mastermind things. There's Daryl Isaacs. He's maybe the most famous of all of them. And I was in Atlanta at the shampoo bottle one. What is that? The Atlanta Peachtree Weston and other conferences. Oh, I was at CNN tour, behind the scenes, putting my tie on, makeup, right? And so there's a lot of stuff that shows proof of this. And Brad, you, I'm sure, have a lot of this stuff on your phone, and this stuff can be repurposed, right? Like, here, this is me and George. Him and Anderson Cooper were the anchors for CNN, right?
This is the big studio here at CNN headquarters, and I mean you've got.
Anyway, so there's like a lot of behind the scenes stuff that get repurposed into videos and social media and GBP and the website. And so you would just want to have someone on your team, ideally like a young adult or something, to then enhance all these different pages. So roof inspection, okay, well, I know you guys are going to try to recommend replacing the roof every time because you make more money on that. But when can you actually repair it? And how does inspection work? And can you send someone out right away? And what if I just had hail damage? And what if, all the different situations? It's not covered here. There's nothing here. You could run this through Christopher and he'll tell you. You don't believe me, right?
Oh, I know.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
oh,
Now do this one.
if you
Let's get
ask
Brad.
Elan Analytics, they'll tell you that that's a perfectly fine web page.
Well, the vendor's a little, I'd be biased. The vendors are always biased. I care what Google standards are, right? So Google has their article on EEAT, and when they switched it, here, let's look at Google EEAT. See, so they said 12 years ago they came out with EAT, and then right before ChatGPT launched, they released their thing. Okay. Here's the original EEAT. They link to their quality rater guidelines, which we do as well. And it basically says the same thing. And you could even ask ChatGPT, use Google's 88-page quality rater guidelines, right? To explain what they're looking for, not what some random analytics company or some other vendor. Who cares what some vendor has to say, right? And then if we run Capital City Roofing through Google's tool, people in the agencies want to argue. Like, oh, we use this other tool. We don't use Google's tool. We don't trust Google's numbers. Well, I am biased towards using Google's own data. And Google's even said that the mobile score is more important than the desktop score. There's a mobile separate index, right? You want to be above 90. And if you're not, Google tells you exactly why and what to fix. There's no argument, right? And then separately, while it's scoring, this is Google's data. Google gave you a 47, right? 23 seconds across this three site load times. And they explain what's causing the issue, right? Well, you can do all this SEO in the world and create all the best content, but if the site, I don't mean to piss on your thing, Brad, because I know you worked on it, so you have a little like homegrown pride. But if you look here and we reload the time, oops, let me developer tools, reload the timeline, and we'll do it in iPhone 14. Okay, I'll pretend to be an iPhone 14. I'm in the wrong one. I'm gonna come over here. Okay. Okay. Reload the timeline. How many GET requests are there and what's the payload? It's almost 16 megabytes is the payload, 93 GET requests. Look at all this JavaScript and this other stuff that takes forever to load, right? Some of them, what is this broken? What's broken here? You have something broken, this script. Probably want to fix that. Okay, so you have this thing that Google says, Google's own tool says you suck. And they tell you why. And if using Chrome, which anyone can do, I'm not using anything you don't have access to. If it takes 4.5 seconds, 10 seconds, there's the initial load and then there's the full load in 9 seconds. So it's kind of usable after 5. How many people are going to wait 9 seconds, Brad? They're already, they click back and they went to the next thing by then, right? Maybe you designed it for desktop. If you had a 42, 47, what are you like, maybe an 80 on desktop? Oh, 44 on desktop. Wow. Normally it's higher on desktop. Why is that? Images probably. Yeah. Like this is part of SEO. SEO is about a great user experience that loads fast and is helpful, that causes the signal of people to stay on the site, which then Google notices this signal. It's not like meta tags and, sitemaps and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like this. Like this is what's killing you. If you did this one thing, this would make I'm a Las Vegas betting kind of man. This would make a significant, I would bet you this, literally just fixing your site loading faster would make a big impact to your search rankings. As basic as that. And as basic as fixing location service pages so people stay around and they actually find it helpful. Because if someone comes to any one of these pages and they click back and they go to the next roofer because they type in, Alpharetta roofing or whatever it is, right? That sends a penalty to you. Right? So I think, yeah, you do those things, repurpose the content, that will give you 80-90% of what you need to do for SEO. And you don't need AI generated articles and this other nonsense. That's my analysis. And then I had ChatGPT do the analysis. I did my analysis before ChatGPT because I wanted to be a fair thing. And you can see it's basically going against the basics. I mean, this is all basic stuff, right? You don't have location service pages. At least do these, but put an experience that you have. Sandy Springs, that's where my dentist is. He's like right at the Sandy Springs metro. I don't like riding the metro. It's kind of gangbangish. I should have taken an Uber.
Yeah, it's no good.
I didn't realize, like, you take the subway in New York, it's fine, but Atlanta, something about Atlanta. But these are all basic sorts of things. And you use ChatGPT too, which is funny because you can compare my use of ChatGPT against your use of ChatGPT. A little bit different. But we can argue about ChatGPT. We can talk about the fundamentals. We can do that all day long. But, I think it's 90% implementation and 10% discussion. If it's, without implementation, it doesn't matter, which is why you have your COO, because someone's got to implement and follow up and do the thing, right? So, in agent mode, ChatGPT has Atlas, their browser, and you can activate agent mode and it will log in and it'll do all these things. Of course, with
It's
supervision, right?
it's have you tried the Atlas browser on Mac yet?
That's what I'm in right now.
Oh, is that what you're
Right
okay,
here.
yeah.
You see Atlas, that's Atlas.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I'm talking to it.
I've tried one time before to switch over to Mac from PC, but just this alone being in Mac makes me want to try again.
A lot of my friends have switched to Mac just because of this.
Mm-hmm.
Just because they want to use Atlas. Because I could come in and say, we're auditing Capital City Roofing, which is Brad Strawbridge's company. He's a dabbler in SEO and AI tools, talking about Atlas. And we've done an audit, and you can see here that he had ChatGPT do an audit. You can see this email. And you can see that I did an audit that was a little bit more robust because I fed it data and I gave it more context. So, like any assistant, when you give it context and guide it properly, like any team member, human or not, it does better work. I want you to write an article on DennisU.com in agent mode, talking about why, yeah, the tool's important, but the chef is more important than the knife. You can have the sharpest knife, but the chef needs to know what he's doing. I don't care how smart the knife is if the chef doesn't know what he's doing. And even more important than the chef is the ingredients, right? So A5 Wagyu steak versus like ground beef or mystery sausage meat. The ingredients are more important. Like you need really high quality ingredients and a decent chef and a decent knife. But let's talk about these three layers and how it applies to Capital City Roofing. They have 4.9 stars, as you know, almost 150 reviews, but not many reviews. And even with this location switch, that's not enough. Even if we fix the location service pages and get more reviews, that's good. But there's something deeper here in gathering the reviews and experience, especially the technicians that are out there on the roofs that are talking to the homeowners, repurposing the stuff, so that then the net result of doing all these things is ranking in Google. Not because we're doing SEO, but because we're actually generating signals that Google's looking for. So let's talk about it in this 3-tier model and publish this as a blog post on DennisU.com. Later we'll come in with the Zoom recording and you can make it even nicer. So it's going to go log in and it's going to start writing the blog post, right? Go into agent mode. It'll ask, but save it one step. I'm going to take over my screen. You can see its mouse, the one that's floating. Of course, it does some analysis first. It tells you what it's doing on the right side. And then it's going to come to login. What? Oh, wrong Dennis U. Okay, hopefully you can figure it out. It should be DennisYU.com. See, sometimes it's dumb. That's why you need the human watching over the thing. Okay. See if we can figure it out. See, this is why it's not quite ready. I'm going to tell it. DennisU.com. In fact, I'm just going to help it there. See, it should know. It's been to my site enough times, it should know. Okay. There it is. Log in. Okay. Now go. Log in. Okay. See? Now it's going to go write the article. Right? And I gave it context because I spoke to it. I didn't type at it. When you speak to it, you just end up giving better context. And when you're polite, you end up giving better context too. And you use subjects and verbs and direct objects, which the AI needs to understand what to do when, right? So I would literally, if this is on WordPress, which it should be, and ideally host on WP Engine, which is what we do. We have a premium and VIP plan. We put all our clients under it. They still have control on everything, of course, right? And now it's doing this. And because it knows how to do stuff, to write blog posts properly, and it knows Google's guidelines, it's going to link to related articles. And I'm also going to tell it, I didn't tell it yet, I'm going to ask it to link to you, to pass you some SEO juice from a high-powered site. Because we got a lot of roofing things that we've done, and that'll be a link for you that's authoritative. It'll link to some of the location service pages. When Edward comes in or you come in and fix these things, we'll also enhance your SEO by linking from this and other articles that we have, which is not buying links, which is not reciprocal links. But you see what's going on here? I'm not doing anything. It's doing it, right? And I'll say, take a screenshot from the Zoom of me, Brad, and Edward smiling or something like that, right? See? So you could feed it the recommendations. You could feed it this Zoom call. And we do this all the time where we'll do these audits, and some of the clever contractors will take the Zoom call, feed it in the ChatGPT saying, go, I didn't understand half of what Dennis said, but can you just map out a plan and of the things that you can do in agent mode, just go ahead and do them. You know, I'm giving you access to my Google business profile, to my Google ads, to my site, to all this stuff. Can you just go ahead and implement all the stuff like a good marketing person? Pretend you're Dennis Yu and Danny Liebrandt and Darren Shaw and these other people, and just go ahead and implement based on the expertise and all this. Because I don't understand, I'm a roofer, but he said all these things and I want you to do them. And he said that the AI could do it in Atlas mode. Can you just go ahead and do it then? And it will. Why am I paying this agency all this money when I could just have the Atlas do it? What do you think?
Yeah, I might have to, because Atlas doesn't work as well in just, the web-based version through
Yeah, because it opens a remote window. And so you're
yeah,
remote viewing into it, and it's slow and
it's very
screen
slow.
painting. And it's just when you see that, you know, the difference between, so I could open Atlas here. You're right. I could come here and I could go into agent mode, right? Whatever, and it'll open a window, and then I got to log in each time. But if it's in my browser as I'm doing stuff, I changed Atlas to be my default browser because I have it do stuff. This past weekend, I had it write 100 articles. I said, you know what? I'm too lazy. I have all these YouTubes. Can you just turn them into articles? Get me most of the way there, and then I'll have our human editors come in and kind of advise. But if I'm logged into it, and this is nothing but Chromium. You know, Atlas is just Chromium, right?
Yeah.
And even like people say, yeah, well, the other guys have also created browsers too. Yeah, they're all Chromium as well, right?
Any idea, have you heard if they're gonna, come out for PC?
I get asked this, if I had $1 for every time, they say it's coming. They won't give us a date. They say it's coming for the phone too, but we'll see. Android and iOS, but I don't know. I've been waiting. I think ever since Sam Altman declared that red alert thing and then prematurely put out 5.2, and then Google inked that deal with Apple a week ago, which is basically sucking all the oxygen out of the room. I think that those things have been delayed because now Sam Altman has to make money now. Right? He's got 1.6 trillion in capital commitments. 1.6 trillion, not billion, off of 20 billion in revenue. So I think any promise they would have made is going to be delayed even further. They made an announcement 3 weeks ago that they were going to launch their ads platform, which I'm very excited about. And I wrote an article speculating on what I think their ads platform, how it'll behave and how it's different than keyword bidding and all that. But my friends on the inside say they have to delay that one too, which I think is dumb. I think the ads platform is the #1 thing they should work on because their biggest thing, well, I have a finance degree too. I kind of think that they're an upside down WeWork model because they need to prove revenue. So all the things, like the easiest thing is ads, more features and ads. That's what I think. Not government regulation and fighting off whatever. But whatever, you and I are small fish compared to these billionaire sorts of games. I think that you could hold your breath on when Windows is coming out, or go to Costco and get $1,000 MacBook Pro.
Well, my wife just got one because she's thinking about converting over, but now she's like, no, I can't do it. I can't get used to the UI. I just can't do it. I'm gonna return it. I said, well, hold on, hold your horses.
It's Chrome.
I might try again. Well, it's just the whole
You
like
talk to it, but there's no need for a UI. You talk to it. You saw I just talked to it.
Well, not just the browser, but it's like because we're running a business and
right?
she's a partner in the business. So like the file management, she can't get used to. There's just things
Oh,
about,
the Apple stuff. Okay, fine.
yeah, it's just the
That's always
Apple
the
stuff.
first couple weeks. I was like that too. I was on Windows forever, and I had to be drag kicking and screaming into the whole Apple ecosystem. But once you're in the Apple ecosystem, the whole thing envelops you,
Hmm.
and then you start to like it. I've converted a lot of people to Apple.
Yeah, I
Also
just
just
left Apple for Android essentially, but it was for Google Pixel.
Yeah.
Um, and it's okay. It's it's all right.
I mean, whatever the case is, you could stay on Windows and the agent mode will come. You can still do agent mode. It's just slower and clunkier.
Hmm.
It can still do everything else. You just got to wait longer. So
Right.
what I would do before the Atlas browser launch was I would have 7 agents running at the same time. Because if it's slow, like while the first 5 or 6 agents are running, I'm training up the 7th agent to go do this other thing while I'm waiting on the other guys. But the trouble is, then you have to start multitasking. You got to remember, like, oh, I forgot, like these guys are all doing, you know. And if you can, I mean, when you're a business owner, obviously multitasking is inefficient, but you have to.
Yeah.
There's no way around it because you have
Right. You
all these
got.
people, and once
Hmm.
that person, whether it's human or not, stops working, they're going to sit there. And until you tell it what to do, like it just stops. It doesn't continue, doesn't come back and say, "Oh, what's next?"
Right.
They're not proactive. You're proactive now. You're an entrepreneur. The employees need to be told what to do. I don't want to like go into my whole diatribe on employees, but you know, we have a bunch of employees. I have a ton of human and non-human employees,
Hmm.
and they all do our SOPs, which we will give you, all of them. Then your wife can supervise your human and non-human agents to do all this stuff that we've talked about here, which is not hard to do. Like if I were to sit down and work on your thing, I could get most of it done in an afternoon.
Hmm.
It takes actually more time to explain and train people and coach them and motivate them than it does to actually do the work, believe it or not.
that's 100%
That's
the
one. That's
truth right there.
100% true. Yeah. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
People say like, oh, well, how much would you charge to private me, coach me and mentor me and all that? I'm like, 20 grand. Yeah, but you'll implement it for 3,500. I know. The trouble is that it's a lot faster just to do it. Like I'd rather do the surgery than train you how to do the surgery while we do it together, right? And then argue with you and all that, right? Just we
Yep.
know what to do. It's not hard. There's an SOP. By the time we're done, we run the audit again. And of course, we have to pass our own audit, right? And that all of the people in our program, whether they're clients or AI apprentices, a lot of these young adults are sons and daughters of guys who run roofing companies and HVAC companies, and they're the business owner. They're too busy, so they just have their son do it, basically, which we love doing.
Right.
Either way, it's the same SOP and it's the same audit. You got to pass the audit. Well, I'm the grandson of this billionaire guy. Great, but you still have to pass the audit.
Did you have a chance to look at my personal brands page?
Let's take a look. I looked at it briefly. Let's come over here to. Are you getting value? Is this fun?
Yeah, no, this is fun. This is what fascinates me. This is what I work on from, 7 p.m. until 1 in the morning. I work on the roofing company during business hours, and I work on this
Okay,
outside of that because it's fun.
cool. You're like me. It's interesting and fun. Like Elon Musk says, the interesting outcome is the most likely. Okay, so there's 2 objects.
Yeah, and they're both me. They're just tied to the top one's tied to my um, capital C email. The bottom's my personal email.
So you've claimed this one.
I have, yeah.
You, so did you merge? No, you haven't, but have you tried to merge the second one? So you have
No,
a
I
partial
haven't.
one here,
Right.
and this is all you because it is a
Yep.
relatively, it's not John Smith. So, okay.
Yep.
This one is unclaimed. So you need to come into, you know how to manage your knowledge panel, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then come in, just like for me, come here, suggest the edit saying, hey, I have a duplicate knowledge panel. Here's the ID here's the KGM ID on the second one,
Okay.
right? And you know how to do that. This is the KGM ID off of it.
I've somehow figured Google would be intelligent enough to merge them
You,
after I
yeah,
claimed one.
no, you'd be surprised. Why do you think they have, why do you think they wouldn't do this? Even though Google's got lots of AI and Gemini is arguably the smartest one.
I don't know.
They have no financial motive to like, why would they care?
Yeah, that's true.
Like they put all the money, all like you want the best analytics, it's in Google Ads. Oh, I wonder why that is. So this one, 122 is good. If we look at the objects that are tied to that, what we like to see is that the first one should be your personal brand site, but your LinkedIn is winning. So my former boss at Yahoo was Jeff Weiner. He ran search.
Mm-hmm.
He went on to become the CEO at LinkedIn. And he said when he moved to LinkedIn that his goal was to rank #1 on everyone's name. So he's doing pretty well on that. And the reason why is that this site doesn't carry as much power. You haven't connected everything back into this personal brand site to be the hub of of all the spokes and, of the wheel.
Yeah. I just
So,
built it a month or two ago.
so if we apply the same thing here, the reason why it says 0 is because SEO tools are really just estimating. They don't have the real number. They do their best to estimate. So probably a little bit more brand strength, like from the bio on Capital City Roofing, the about, and other places. Other podcasts that you've been on should link to that. All your socials should link to that. But there's not much strength coming in here. And then any podcasts that you have that you've been on or you've interviewed other people you should have YouTube here, by the way. That YouTube and Twitter, which you have, or I guess X, and Facebook seem to carry the most weight for these personal brand sites. But then linking back to here reinforces the power of the hub that you have. Whether or not it passes juice or not, it reinforces. It says this is the hub. This is the entity home of Brad Strawbridge, right? So proof of that. Are you having fun, Edward? Or I know you haven't said anything.
I'm actually learning quite a bit. I'm just listening and learning.
Okay, look at this. This is very typical.
Well,
So-
that one, I didn't even know that one existed.
3
I
days
didn't even know
ago?
that. I didn't even know that one was out there.
Okay, so here's what happens in B2B podcasts. They say, welcome to the podcast. Today we have Brad Strawbridge and blah, 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 right? They tripled their revenue. Great. But no one ever sees any of this stuff. Even a year later, no one sees any of this stuff. Why? And roofers, big company, you mentioned them. So
You're listening to the Roofer Report.
several reasons. One is they open with a bumper. What happens to watch times when you open with a bumper? People scroll right past it. You need to open with a hook.
Mm-hmm.
The one quote you said, and the one thing I did to really change my company is, and then it pauses, and then like, oh, he didn't, you're left hanging, right? Then when we look at so the title is good. That's the second most important thing. Then the third most important thing is how well this description's written. And this is obviously AI written. Well, where's the link to the article where this is repurposed? This should be, it should have chapters. Actually, no, I'm sorry, it does. It does have the chapters. Here they are. But it should be repurposed to an article. That article should have the YouTube embedded, and to be reciprocal in a good way, to reinforce the signal, this description should link to that article, right? Article has the embedded video, description includes the article URL. So then it shows up multiple ways, featured snippets inside Google, right? And then it's recommending. So now if I click on a couple Brad Strawbridge things, now Google's going to start recommending me more and more Brad Strawbridge things, right? That's how the algorithm works. So now for the next 48 hours, I'm going to get tons more of this. This is the one, 2 views now. Okay, I'll give it a like on that. This could be repurposed. And if I could do it inside Chrome, but I could go here to YouTube.
To work for you, right? Finding.
And Gemini, you would think, would have this because it's part of Google, but they don't. And YouTube is part of Google, but it's kind of run like a separate company. So they're like different departments where they just don't even, whatever. So if I took this and I said, go ahead and repurpose this into an article, and I want to put it on localservicespotlight.com where we're spotlighting these founders like Brad Strawbridge here. And we want to link to his personal brand site to strengthen his knowledge panel because his LinkedIn is ranking #1 on his name. So obviously I have spent some time with Brad, like in this Zoom call where I'm live dictating to you. And we're going to take a few of these things to help strengthen his knowledge panel and show based on Google's EEAT that we're doing everything legitimately and that he has been on a lot of podcasts and he is a well-known roofer and he is going to these roofing conventions like IRE in Vegas next week and whatnot. So he has earned through EEAT that he is a roofer that has tripled his company and grown to 3 million in 1 year and all that kind of stuff that's here in the podcast. Obviously make him look good, but don't glaze it. Don't make it look like some promotional kind of thing because we always lead with facts and authority. And here's the transcript. Agent mode. It has the login to the other site, so it should now start doing it, right? So my favorite thing to have the AI do is take videos, Zoom calls, whatever, and turn them into articles, turn things into ads, set up pixels, do all this kind of stuff, right? And so it's going to go and do all this stuff. It's going to log in. I'm not doing anything. Of course, it'll only get 70, 80% of the way there. You have to give it feedback. It's the last mile problem, right? People complain like, oh, I had the AI do it and it sucked. The issue is whoever's giving direction to the AI. The issue is you, right? So it needs to log in, okay. And because of security, I have to click the login button. Like, okay, proceed. Right? Now it's going to do its thing, right? I have it run ads. I have it optimize ads. I have it make posts for me. I have it respond to comments. I have it do everything that I can do inside a computer. Like in a laptop, it can do it. If it's learned how I do it, it can do it. Right? It's not ghost written content because it's based on raw ingredients of real experience of what you've actually done, a podcast you've actually been on, of you and I actually talking. Not just AI. It's not generated. You know what I mean? People say, "Oh, Dennis this is AI generation. I can generate 1,000 articles in a day." Yeah, you can, but we're not generating. We're repurposing. You see the difference?
Mm-hmm.
So we want to repurpose all the stuff that you have, and you should have multiple team members that are doing this, not just your wife, Edward. You, all of you guys should be dabbling in this, but maybe you should be the lead dabbler, or maybe your wife should be the lead dabbler. You know, if there's no lead dabbler, you know, there needs to be someone setting the example for everyone else to follow. But watch, even this thing here, while it's written a decent article, there's some things it needs to do. It's got to embed the YouTube. I did ask for it to link to, oh no, it did link to Capital City Roofing. Yeah, it should update, should link to your personal brand site, should link to like all the stuff it can find. So if the AI can find it by doing searches, then it's easier for future AIs to find it. It's also easier for Google to find it if the AI can find it. So the AI and the search reinforce each other, right?
Can't remember. Did that podcast mention my nonprofit at all? I can't remember if I talked to that guy about that or not.
So did Brad mention his nonprofit in this podcast? And if so, let's mention that here and link to it. Of course, go find the URL and link to it if he mentioned it. Actually, whether he mentioned it or not, go find it and link to it. Say something about it. Some people say, Dennis, you're such an asshole. Why are you so mean to it? It's, well, I'm nice. I'm just very direct in I'm clear in my instructions. Do you talk to it?
Oh yeah, I talked to it. Yeah, I talked to it at night, and it drives my wife crazy.
Why?
Well, because she says you talk to chat more than you talk to me, which is true.
Jealous?
Maybe a little, you know.
Okay. Okay, but you see what I'm doing here? Like I'm not telling you theoretical stuff. I'm teaching by example. Feeding the Future project.org. Okay. Okay. See? Now, obviously, you can do a way better job than this. This is just, I think the biggest issue with digital marketing is there's so many tasks that you just need to get going on them. And then like, it's like, you know, going to the gym. Well, just go to the gym for 1 minute. If you go to the gym for 1 minute, you'll finish the rest of your workout. You just need to freaking get your butt to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing is here. Like, oh, I need to write an article. Oh, I need to do this one. Okay. I need to go tune my Google ads. Okay. Well, then I'm just going to get it started. This is like Ozempic. That's how I view ChatGPT. Like Ozempic isn't going to change. Ozempic will help you, but you still like it gives you the initial kind of oomph to change your habits, right? So I know I need to I know I need to fix the website. Like you have all these things that are broken about your website and you know about it, and I'm sure there's like a honey-do list for you, right? But you haven't done it for whatever the reason. Who cares what the reason is? But if you just get the thing started, and this is the thing I love to do, I'll come in and like if you give me access to your site, I'll come in and one of the young adults will come in and we'll start making a lot of these changes to the location service pages, repurposing podcasts and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get like 70% of the way there. And then I'll hand it off to one of our other people and say, finish it. You work with
Mm-hmm.
ChatGPT, reason with it, finish it. What I love to do is initiate and then just have other people. I initiate, I create mess all over the place. I'm constantly initiating and then other people
Same.
come in and do it. Because
Same. That's
I'm
what I.
good at initiating. I'm good with the ideas, but I'm not a finisher.
Mm-hmm.
You need an operator, you need an Edward to finish. Edward to look over, okay, here's all the stuff that I've created a mess. I opened up 5 projects, Edward. Go finish all of them. Right? And you need the what are the the integrators, right?
We run on EOS, so
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
I'm the visionary, he's the integrator. That is our dynamic.
Yeah. So I'm a visionary creating lots of messes, opening lots of boxes, and then I hire a bunch of integrators and they come in and finish. And it's great because we get a lot of stuff done. And there's an SOP on how to do all of these things. But
Love it.
you mentioned that you had a nonprofit, but you didn't mention it by name.
Mm.
I didn't even watch this whole video, but basically because it watched it for me. But do you see how much work we're doing even like right now? We're actually doing work. It's great.
Yeah,
And we're
it's
actually creating
amazing.
links to you. This actually, you
amazing.
could run your SEO reports and you'll see these are real links. You'd have to pay $500 to $1,000 for each of these links. If you were to pay, you couldn't even pay me for links because I don't sell links because that's against Google's TOS. I think you got a multiple of value. You got your value just from the links I made right now. Anyway,
How much of a influence does social media have on?
significant if there's traffic. Just because you post on social media doesn't, because remember, we're looking at the signal. So for
Mhm.
example, if you post on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, let's just say you post real content and people are engaging, that's a signal that Google can see.
Mhm.
That's why I love repurposing the YouTube because our average watch times are so high.
Mhm.
Because it's real videos, interviewing other people about their situation, about whatever, talking to
Right.
people at Service Titan and how they gripe about Service Titan, whatever it might be. And so it's not because we're posting, it's not because we're using AI, it's because we're starting with raw ingredients and people are engaging. They're liking, sharing, commenting, watching. And so Google and TikTok and all these guys can see that there's a signal. What matters is the signal, not that we're doing social media for the sake of checking the box. Okay. But these other guys are like, yeah, but if you drive at night and this one stretch where there's like no places for the cops to hide, you can drive 90. Like I do it all the time. I've never gotten caught. Well, good for you. I'm sure you save like a minute in your commute. Just like leave a minute earlier, okay? Like instead of trying to drive 100. Yeah, I drove 100. I didn't get caught. Yeah, I know, I know. And so that's what's going on with all these SEO people. So Brad, that's what happens when these people tell me that they have all these tricks. I'm like, yeah, I know, but one day the cops are going to kill. They're going to catch you, okay? They're going to catch you. I never got a speeding ticket because I don't break the law. Yeah, I'm slower, but I get the result and I
Yeah.
don't get busted. Oh, but Google came out like these people come to me, Brad. Well, Google came out with the release yesterday and it just tanked all my results. And now I have to, like this guy from Red Palm who's got a bunch of HVAC and plumber, and he's like, yeah, well, Google releases things and we keep getting hammered. Like, I know, because do you know why you keep getting hammered? No, it's because Google hates us. Google hates people to do SEO. No, they don't. Google hates people who try to cheat them. It's like they don't even hate. It's like it's a machine. The machine doesn't hate you. They're just penalizing you because they catch you. Don't
Mhm.
do anything to get you caught. Every time Google comes out with a new thing, our results improve because the people who are spamming get caught and they think I was never going to, I'll never get caught. And then they get caught. And it's been this way for almost 30 years. Every year, these people come and go. I see them come like flies. Are they going to be around in a year or two? Maybe, probably not. Search Atlas in a year or two. Are they going to be around? We'll see. Probably not. Collect as much money as you can now while your thing still works. And then when the thing doesn't work, blame Google. Meanwhile, Capital City Roofing needs to be an ongoing concern that's growing and acquiring other companies. You can't afford to. Those guys can play that fast and loose game. You can't.
Mhm.
You're in it for the long run, for reputation.
So
Unless you just
what's
want to sell to PE and leave them holding the bag.
no? Well, not right now, but we've got we just came out with a licensing model where it's very similar to franchising, but it is explicitly not franchising. Where we'll be selling not just, here's my logo, have fun, but all the
They're
SO,
like
all
regional
the,
operators. Yeah, like GMs of each city, right? So it's a blended model, but not franchise. Because
yeah,
franchise is only selling IP. You're actually operating.
yeah, because we're gonna do their front office, their back office. We'll do all of it for them, So, Eventually, I'm sure PE will be interested in purchasing that.
I love that. My buddy Anthony Hilb of Anthony's Lawn Care is doing a similar model where he's taking young adults that have started in his home office in Bloomington, Indiana, and as they grow up, they become GMs and he plants them in new cities.
Yeah, it's the perfect. So think about, well, any home services, you get the good ones, right?
Yeah.
They get good, they realize they're good,
Yeah.
and then they go start their own business.
Yeah,
Well,
but then you lose them. You don't want to lose them.
right. So they get good, they
Yeah.
know they're good, but they know when they get good, they're going to get their own location.
Yeah.
That's exactly why we're doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Then you just have to be careful because even though technically these are other operators in different cities, there are criteria that will mark you as a franchise. You just have
Yeah.
to be,
There's
I'm sure
five.
you talk to your lawyer about that.
There's 5 states we're not going to for sure.
Yeah, like not California, stuff like
Not
that.
California. No.
Yeah. So I know I have a lot of friends that are doing things where I'm like, I love how you're expanding and you're growing your locations and organically, but you're running almost afoul of the franchise rules.
Mm.
It's kind of like employee contractor, WT, like, certain criteria, right?
Right.
Yeah. But I love this model of internal because it's so much better. It's slower than acquiring other roofing
Mhm.
companies. But when they're walking and talking your way and they're trained up in your way and they do things your way and you don't have to convince them about how they did it at the other company. They don't have the ego where that guy's name is on the thing. It's
Yep.
just so much better.
Yep.
You have the
100%.
supply chain, you have the back office, you have all these things, your systems, your marketing, and then all they have to do is operate their team.
Yep. Sell it and install it.
Yeah. And then you have phantom equity or something like that. So that way they're
Mhm.
owners too.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, you came to me for an audit, so I wanted to make sure, did we deliver on that? Did you get value?
Yeah, I think so. I enjoyed just talking to someone, that enjoys talking about this because Edward's fascinated about it, but I don't think it's the most exciting thing for him to talk about.
I just love seeing growth. Business is the ultimate video game for me. Because
Yeah,
instead
for
of
sure.
virtual points, it's real dollars and real people's lives.
So I got another question. Which one do you think is better, Rank Math or Yoast?
I would have, like, for the last 15 plus years, I would have said Yoast, and they were our favorite. But 2.5 years ago, we switched to Rank Math.
Okay.
And we're also on Rank Math Pro. And we have some crazy license where we have it for like 1,000 sites.
Okay.
So you can use ours if you want. We got plenty of extra. There, by the way, it doesn't make a huge difference.
It doesn't?
And all of them have their AI integrated with, they have credits where the AI will like suggest the words and write the article and do the whatever, because all of the stuff now has become all these sort of like WordPress by itself is already 90% optimized. So you can change your plugin mix to be whatever, but you're all, as long as the content's good, like WordPress is SEO optimized because of the way that titles and tags work, which
Mm-hmm.
automatically create links.
Mm-hmm.
So if the content's good and you choose the right titles and tags, and then you have good content that actually does passive linking, which means people like it so much they actually link to you, which is a slow process, but generating real links, then you really don't need all these other tools. I mean, Rank Math, I think, helps when you have VAs and other people that are in your WordPress that don't understand. And so
Mm-hmm.
it creates, it's like bumper bowling. Like it'll say like, oh, you put in your the keyword you're going after, right? And it'll say, oh, it's scored 72, or the title's over 65 characters, or you need to include 3 links, but those sort of suggestions, now agent mode can do all of that based on that logic. So you almost don't need the plugins. And we built our own plugin to handle that anyway, because we built our own platform that spins up WordPress sites. So, you could use you can use any of these plugins like Rank Math, but increasingly they're becoming obsolete because that same logic can just live inside Gemini or Claude or whatever your favorite thing is.
Right. Does theme choice matter?
Well, yes and no. It depends on whether you're doing it just for, like, if you're putting all of your regions under the same site, so it's under capitalcityroofing.net/city name, not
Mm-hmm.
subdomain, not separate sites,
Right.
then, just put it Just choose, the theme that you're with. If you've already put everything into that one, just keep tuning that one.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of switching themes. I like to keep themes as basic as possible because the share of mobile traffic has gone higher and higher to the point where theme decorations are just getting in the way. They're creating extra load, and then your text to code ratio starts to go down. If that starts to become the issue, then you start moving to the world of apps, right? Which is a whole nother thing.
What about child themes?
Oh, why would you do that?
Well, my website is a child theme. It's a Divi child theme.
Oh, okay.
And I'm
I
starting to
don't.
think that might be why it's so slow, is because like you just said, I think there's quite a bit of bloat.
There's always a bunch of cruft with every theme. That's just how it is. Like Elementor is the one we all love to hate, right? Everyone's using Elementor, but whatever, right? I mean, you're a roofing company. What kind of custom stuff are you doing that's so unique that you need to custom do anything? At some
Nothing
point, like
really.
theme development is just a waste of time. Or if you have some web person and they're trying to like lock themselves in to your thing where you're dependent on them.
Yeah. I like Divi because of the builder. I like the
Yeah.
Divi builder. I
Yeah,
learned
the,
it.
the Divi's got a great WYSIWYG builder. Ultimately, it shouldn't matter because everything's responsive anyway. And then everything's going to move towards AI mode anyway. So it's just, is it accessible to the AI? I think things like schema, I think, are even more important than the theme, arguably.
Hmm.
Which
Now,
Rank Math does automatically. All these guys do automatically.
do you think because I always try to think from the lens of the end consumer,
Yeah.
like does a really pretty, fancy with, animations
Usually
and things,
not.
does it
Because the
matter?
homeowner, simpler, uglier usually wins in conversion. We just know that. A, it's simpler. B, you're not wasting all the design resource making things all whatever, which ends up decreasing your text to code ratio, or and it just gets in the way. Like you just literally give the homeowner the information and give it to them quickly. And often it's a video that's going to help instead of more
Mhm.
text and more decoration. Well, guess what? Video you just embed on YouTube. That carries no extra weight because YouTube is free hosting for us.
Hmm.
And so branding, I think, works to the extent that you wrap your vans and and the uniforms match and and there's a consistent color theme and all that. But I don't think it needs to go to the point where you have this custom design website. That's where the $20,000, $50,000 website things come in. I think that's almost always a waste of money.
Hmm.
Sometimes just for an ego purpose, some people want to do that just because they want to say they did.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Your website carries almost no value anyway. I mean, it's like these questions don't even matter. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll answer your questions, but it almost doesn't matter because your GBP is what counts right now.
Yeah, I agree. The website's like a digital business card.
Yeah. It's
That.
there once they already know who you are, but at that point, it doesn't matter because it's branding.
Hmm.
Traffic comes through on your name, but if they're searching on your name, that's not search, it's navigation.
Right.
There's no convincing. Search requires convincing. Branding doesn't. Branding is where are you? When are you open? It's the business card, like you said. They already know who you are.
Right. Okay. This is very helpful. So what are next steps in this process?
Well, I would love to see you implement. All the stuff we talked about is worth nothing unless you implement. So,
Sure. Yeah.
several ways to implement. You can choose someone to be an AI apprentice in our program. You, your wife, a young adult. We tend to prefer a young adult because they have enough time. Most business owners are too busy. They have the intention but never the time to do it.
Hmm.
So our preference is you find some young adult, could be even a technician, and they can dedicate, 5 to 6 hours a week and just make steady progress. They're loyal over time. The key is that they're loyal. They have to continue to make progress over time. And you'll see this compounding effect, this compound interest, right? You could also have us do it. We have a base retainer that's $1,500 a month, and that's for one location. And that gives jobs to our young adults in America who don't want to go to college because they believe in the trades and they believe in, this kind of thing. And we have tons of courses and all that. That's all free. You and Edward and your wife can go through all the training, all the SOPs. Regardless of who does it, it's the same SOP and it's the same grading because we have our AIs come in and grade the work. And of course, we look at the analysis. We look at the results. We see, are we driving calls? So all calls, whether it's, call rail or wherever it is, need to be tied back to marketing source. So if you don't have that digital plumbing, that's one thing we can implement too. Or maybe you're a dabbler and you want to mess with Google Tag Manager. That's cool too, right?
Okay. I definitely want to do something because I know that this is important, especially with my aspirations of making Capital City Roofing the first real household name in roofing.
Yeah.
So could you send me like a proposal on what each option looks like, and we'll make a decision pretty quickly.
Awesome, gents.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate
it.
Appreciate it.
Thanks so
We'll
much.
see the Zoom too in a little bit.